Hello, Coach Creators! We are talking about judgment and rejection during this video, so buckle up because it's gonna be great. All right, so wow, holy cow, what a month we have been having so far. This week is really, really big for shifting our relationship with our bodies because we are directly looking at how we are treating other people. Because how we're treating and judging and looking at other people is going to be a reflection on how we're treating and judging and looking at ourselves. So hopefully you've had time to do some of the judgment work through exercises, answering questions in the book. We're going to use that stuff during this video and build and expand upon it. So if you have your book in front of you, I want you to look at some of the questions that you've answered about who are you judging? Who do you judge the most? Why are you judging them? All of these kinds of questions, because I want to talk about them. And I want to create a space for us to really break down these judgments. And honestly, you've done the work in the book to figure out how you are judging people. And now it's just the part of like, let's knock it off. Let's stop. And how do we do this? When you find yourself starting to judge people, flip it back on yourself and give yourself self-love in that area. So for example, you're walking down the street. Oh my gosh, those are the stupidest, most old-fashioned, out-of-date shoes I've ever seen. I hate them. They're ugly. Okay, whoa, I was just really judging. I'm going to stop. I'm going to take back. I'm going to flip that. What is this actually? Where is this coming from me? Well, when I was a kid, I always got made fun of for my clothes, and I think it's stupid that they think that they can go out and they don't have to spend as much time and effort. Boom. It's like we're going to open up those things. And that's going to be the initial reaction. So our job then from that is, you know what? I love you. I love you for what you wear. I love you despite of what you wear. And I accept you good fashion or bad fashion. That was kind of a weird example because I don't know many people who judge old-fashioned shoes like that. But if you do, that's okay. I'm not judging you for judging that. But I do want to give a variety of examples. So if you're judging people's bodies or if you're judging the way that they're talking, anything like that, let's use this time and especially this week to really focus on the work of pausing the judgment, stopping it, flipping it back on us, doing a little bit of reflection, and then affirming, loving, and processing that stuff. Here is a really important part of this. I'm not saying like if somebody is at a restaurant and like, oh, waiter, you're the worst, and I'm going to throw my plate on the floor. Like, if that's happening, I'm not saying like, give that person a high five and be like, that was a good decision you just made in your life. We're not looking to like condone bad behavior or anything like that with this. We are looking at you. We are not worried about other people with this right now. We are worried about you. We are worried about how your interactions with other people, your judgments, your thoughts with other people are a reflection on how you are treating and feeling about yourself. So actually, that is a really good point. We're going to be talking about this a lot next month in the vulnerability month. But what we are essentially starting to do is we're starting to separate people's behavior from who they are as people. And when we're looking at ourselves and we're looking at self-love in general, that's a really big piece. Because when we say, I'm stupid, I'm fat, I'm ugly, it's very different than I have extra weight, or I didn't know the answer to that question, or I don't fit what this person finds as beautiful, or whatever it might be. You know what I mean? So it's like, what we are working on doing also is separating the us from the behavior or the circumstance or the action or whatever it is. So again, we're going to go way, way more into that next month. But that's just a little bit of background information on why we're doing what we're doing and what we're doing. So all of that to say, let's knock off the judgment. Let's put it back on ourselves and let's fill in that place, that kind of like emptiness or the meanness or the judgment or the reaction or the insecurity that gets triggered when we want to judge. That's what we want to pour love into. So that's what we're going to focus on. The next piece I want to talk about is the rejection piece. Because oftentimes when we are judging other people, when we're judging ourselves, it comes from this insecurity about being rejected. And if you're like, yes, girl, then I'm with you. And don't worry, I think we might do another rejection kind of themed things coming up next year. So I'm going to get your back on this because it's a huge topic, very important. But this month, for the sake of what we're doing, let's look at that. And again, exactly what we're doing with the judgment work is we are wanting to affirm and validate ourselves, right? Because when we stop looking for the affirmation, the validation to come outside, rejection is a little bit less scary. It's still scary, and that's okay. And it's going to be scary and it's going to be uncomfortable. However, it's the difference between like looking off a 50-foot cliff and looking off a 2-foot drop, right? That's a big difference. And the 2-foot drop might still be, let's go a little bit bigger. Let's say 3 foot, because that could be a little intimidating. That could still be intimidating. Is this going to hurt my knees? How am I going to land? Am I going to hurt my ankle? I don't know. But that's very different than like, will I survive this fall? And when we pour that love, when we pour that enoughness in from inside, that validation, the rejection becomes that 3-foot drop instead of the 50-foot drop. So keep that in mind when you are triggered with the fear of rejection. Put a little bit less pressure on the outside and allow yourself to fill up from the inside a little bit more. And it may sound weird when we're specifically looking at our bodies and our physical appearances this month, but it's so sneaky how much this fear of rejection comes in just even on a daily basis with our physical appearance. And this can be anything from what we're wearing to how our hair is done to what we look like in our clothes to how we are, appearing to others in public. It's a wide range of how we put ourselves out there, how we show ourselves, how we show up every single day, and how people could respond to that. Let me know if you have any questions about that. But basically what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to take some of the pressure and some of the stakes out of whatever fear of rejection that we're having. And we do that by affirming, loving, I am enouging ourselves. And we also do that by taking some of the pressure out of the external forces. And we've been doing this the whole month when, especially one of the last videos when we're talking about changing our ideas of what beauty is, allowing other people in the world to think that we're beautiful and to have other beauty norms, and also allowing ourselves to have other beauty norms, to not feel like we have to subscribe to the normal ideas of beauty, but to actually say, well, what is beautiful? What do I find beauty in, right? So both of those things will kind of help take some of the stakes and the pressure off. But ultimately, it is that deep root, that deep self-love and enoughness that's going to, or I should say, shorten that gap of rejection. And even doing this exercise of visually changing what are the stakes, the visual work of saying, okay, it's the 50-foot drop. Nope, now it's the 3-foot drop. I can see the floor. I can see the bottom. I know that it might be a little bit intimidating, but I know that I'm going to be safe to jump down. And just reaffirming yourself in that way, reassuring yourself in that way can be enough to change the energy that you're bringing to a situation where you're fearing rejection. Okay, you've got this. I believe in you. Deep breath, and let's love the crap out of our beautiful bodies.